Welcome back to the Discount Property Investor Podcast. Our mission is to share what we have learned from our experience and the experience of others to help you make more money investing like a pro. We want to teach you how to create wealth by investing in real estate the Discount Property Investor way. To jumpstart your real estate investing career, visit freewholesalecourse.com, the most complete free course on wholesaling real estate ever. Thanks for tuning in.
All right, guys, we are back. Thank you for listening to the Discount Property Investor Podcast. I am your host, David Dodge. Today, I am joined by one of my students locally, Derrick Towns.
Yes, sir.
Derrick, how the hell are you, buddy?
Pretty good, pretty good.
Man, I'm happy to have you. Thank you for coming into the studio.
All right.
Hopefully you like our little space.
Great.
Derrick's been a student of ours for, I don't know, maybe 2 months, 3 months, maybe?
About 3 months.
Probably going on 3 months. And Derrick is a local student, which is awesome. I love it when we have local students because I know the market, so it's easier for me to help them. Now, the cool thing about Derrick is when he joined our coaching program, he knew a little bit about real estate. Derrick's already doing some deals with fix and flips and some other stuff. So again, I'm just happy to have Derrick on the show. Thanks for coming in. Grateful for you and your time.
Thank you.
Tell us a little bit about what you were doing with real estate prior to working with me and Mike.
Okay.
I want to get a little bit about your background.
All right. Prior, I started in 2018. Bought my first rental property in May of 2018. And 2019, I started on 2 flips, my first 2 flips.
So you got a rental now?
Yes.
2?
I still have the same rental.
Okay, 1.
that I purchased in
Perfect.
2018.
Cool.
And last year in 2019, I purchased 2 flips. One of them is completed, is on the market right now. The second one should be done in about 2 months.
But you never had done a wholesale?
Never did a wholesale.
So a rental, some flips, one's
Yeah.
on the market, one's being
So
worked
I
on.
knew about wholesaling, but I didn't think it would be for me. So fast forward to this year, I just realized it's the foundation of real estate and getting deals. So I just went in and dove in, found you guys, and
How'd you find us, if you don't mind me asking? Just
I
curious.
believe it was YouTube.
Okay,
Yeah,
cool.
I'm always on YouTube,
Yep.
always trying to learn.
Make yourself comfortable.
All right. And I found you guys, and then I was like, these guys are in my backyard.
That's right. We're right here.
I was excited, and I was sold ever since.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Okay, so Derrick is sitting in front of me right now, guys, with closing docs.
Yes.
He just closed his first wholesale deal. How much was the transaction for, Derrick?
$10K.
10K.
net.
What's the
Yeah.
exact number?
It was
Right
$9,753, I believe.
$9,953. I'm looking at the closing statements
$9,753.
right now. Boom. Love it. So this was your first wholesale deal.
Yes.
Tell us about the deal. Let's start here. How did you find the deal, first and foremost?
Okay. I found the deal. Well, I used your link, PropStream.
PropStream.
Signed up for PropStream.
Okay.
I searched the area that's actually the same area as one of my flips.
Okay. So you're
Okay.
basically, and I tell people this too all the time, Derrick, hey, market where you're wanting to invest or where you're wanting to wholesale, right? It doesn't make sense to do it 3 counties over if you're not wanting to drive there. So you already are doing, some real estate deals in a particular area. You went on PropStream, you pulled a list. What kind of list?
This list was a high equity list.
Okay. And we love those high equities.
Absentee owner.
Boom. So you're doing you're adding some components here. You're stacking.
Yeah. Yep.
So not only was this a high equity, it was absentee.
Yep.
Okay.
And I believe I had the owner owning for about 5 years or so, or longer.
Good criteria.
Yep.
Where'd you learn all that stuff?
Just playing around with it and
My man.
watch a couple
That's
videos.
right. But it's good though to have multiple criteria because it's going to dial in your list.
Mhm.
So high equity, very important if you want to wholesale, unless the seller's bringing money to the table.
Right.
So that's great. You said absentee.
Yes.
Another great reason why somebody would be presumed to be motivated. Love it. And the last one you added was 5+ years of ownership.
Yes.
I like that one as well. I always add that in. Reason is typically if somebody bought a property in the last 5 years, the odds of them being motivated or wanting to sell it at a significant discount, we're talking 20, 30, 40% discount, it's going to be a lot lower. So the criteria you had in there was perfect. It got you a deal. So you were going to keep doing that, but I love it.
Absolutely.
So you got a list off of PropStream. How big was that list of that? Do you remember roughly?
Roughly, it was probably about I would say 600 or 700.
Okay, so
properties in
decent
the area.
size.
And I also made sure it was a minimum of 2 bedrooms.
Okay.
So I X'd out the 1 bedroom.
I like doing those too. Some people in some markets may like 1 bedrooms. It depends on where you live. Here in St. Louis, in our market, 2 bedrooms are going to be better for flips and rentals. So that was great too. Again, by adding the extra criteria, you're going to narrow that list down, which is going to save you money. You know, it's got its pros and cons by doing that, but I love it. So you went and you got the list prop stream. What'd you do next, Derrick?
After I got the list, I exported it and I sent it straight to batch.
Batch leads.
Batch
Love
leads.
it.
Yep.
It stacks them, it skip traces them, and it texts them. So one of the reasons that I wanted to interview you today is your approach to how you did this. I want to congratulate you for doing your first deal, man.
Thanks.
You rocked it.
Thanks.
You had a $10,000 wholesale fee,
Yes, absolutely,
right?
absolutely.
So one of Derrick's goals, we were just talking about this before the episode, was to, get into this full time, right? You're working part-time elsewhere.
Yes.
Doesn't really matter. But boom, I mean, this is
the goal
real.
is to do.
This is real money right
Yes,
here.
yes,
10,000. Okay.
Right.
So this is about you.
I've
talk a lot. You can
I've
tell.
showed and told everybody as well. I wouldn't care if it was a $500 profit. I just wanted to prove to
You
myself
wanted to prove to yourself
that I can do it.
The fact that it was
Confidence
10,
building.
even better. So,
Yeah.
Derrick, you got the list off PropStream. You took it over to Batch. What'd you do next?
Okay, I skip trace my list.
Okay.
That's the first thing I did.
Mm-hmm.
And then I sent out text blasts.
And for those that aren't familiar, skip tracing is basically just getting phone numbers and emails. You know that does email too.
I didn't know that.
I believe so. Don't quote me on that.
Okay.
I don't really use it that much, but I know a lot of people that will do email marketing. Again, another approach to hit these people, or even a follow-up tactic too.
Okay.
Regardless, you skip traced it, guys. What that means is it's getting the owner's phone number. When you pull a list off PropStream, it's going to tell you the address, assuming it meets the criteria you set in the name, right?
Yeah.
But that doesn't get you very far unless you plan on just going and knocking on the door, right? Or I guess you could mail with that information too. But to call or text, you need a phone number, and Batch helps do that. So you skip traced it. Batch also does the texting. You pushed it to a campaign. You started texting. What do your messages look like, Derrick?
Well, I got all kind of messages. Some people didn't respond. Some people said no. Few people cussed me out.
How many?
I don't know.
Couple.
Yeah,
It's part of the game, man.
Yeah,
You
it's part of
gotta
the
have
game.
thick
Hey,
skin.
You gotta have thick skin. Gotta have.
Love it. Okay.
But all it takes is one.
It's all it takes.
All it takes is one. So
So you started cold texting these people.
Yes.
And you're using Batch. So tell me a little bit about that process. You send out a couple messages at a time.
Yeah, I probably try to send out about 30 at a time because I don't want to have too many conversations going at the same time.
And you don't want the delay.
Yes.
You don't want a 3-hour delay
I don't
between the
wanna
response.
respond
Right. So
2
less
hours
is more
back.
with texting. You know, you definitely want to be doing it, but you don't want to try to send out 5,000 texts. That's such a bad idea.
Right.
30, 40 at a time. Give it a half hour. Make sure that you're conversating with these people, setting appointments or just answering questions, but being very responsive is the point I'm trying to make. Anyway, you're texting. How'd you come across this lead here, man, over on Clemens Avenue?
Somebody texted me back. I probably had a few leads.
And you're texting sellers.
Yeah, texting sellers. I had a few leads out of that list, but this particular deal, someone texted me back. I went through the whole motion of asking would they be interested in selling the property. Come to find out, the guy actually has several other properties that he's working on.
And you're going to go buy those too, right?
Yeah,
Hell
I'm going to
yeah.
follow up.
Hell
He
yeah.
just didn't have time to get to this project.
Sure.
And it was just sitting, probably costing them taxes every year.
Tell me a
And it
little bit
was-
about the house. Did you go look at it?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, I did. It's a single family home. It's actually 2 beds, 1 bath.
Okay.
All brick, and it was vacant.
So what was his motive? So we know, or I know at this point, this guy has owned it for 5 years.
Yes.
The equity was presumably 30% or higher unless you adjusted it off that.
Yes.
And absentee, which is not necessarily means vacant, but it can. But in this case, it was also vacant. So you
Yes,
have
it
4
was.
motivations right here. But I'm curious, what was his motivation? Obviously, those things are going to be piling up on his back. But whenever you were texting him and he said, "Hey, Derrick, thanks for reaching out. I am interested." did you, like, whenever you met him or talked to him, what was the reason that he wanted or needed to sell?
I believe it was just sitting there and it was just costing him
So
money.
just
Taxes,
inconvenience.
yes.
Taxes, costs,
And when I
expenses.
did go see the property, the grass was high. He did inform me that he was getting notices from the city. So it was just an inconvenience for him. And he didn't have the time to
So you solved
work
the
on it.
problem.
Yes.
That's it. That's all you did.
Absolutely.
And I'm not trying to undermine it, but I'm just trying to show everyone how simple this business is.
Mhm.
Derrick, 10 grand. This is awesome, dude. So you met him at the property. You got some pictures of the property.
Got some pictures.
How did that go? Like, was his asking price a deal, or did you have to negotiate with him? Tell me a little bit about how that went, if you don't mind.
He pretty much wanted to be around a 35K range.
Okay.
So I went in at 25, and he said he wasn't trying to go that low. So I just told him, look, hey, we're kind of in that same range of number.
We're not far.
Yes.
Yeah.
So if I come up and meet you at 28, can we make a deal? He thought about it. He said, let's do it.
All right, guys. Lessons. Okay. What was the MAO? Do you remember? It doesn't matter, but do you remember
I
roughly?
knew that I could sell it for about
What he's asking?
35K,
Okay,
yes.
so that's what matters. That was
That's what I knew.
okay, so your MAO was less than that because
Yes.
you had to basically build in a profit. This is one of my favorite tactics, Derrick.
Mhm.
I love this, okay? You got to have wiggle room. Never make the highest offer you can make first.
I
Because
learned that the hard way.
Because nobody wants to deal with a dick. Pardon my language. They want you to have some flexibility. Whenever you're like, my offer's firm. Oh, sorry. Or the next offer's lower. Nobody wants to work with that guy.
Right.
You got to have some wiggle room. But what I'm getting at, though, is the fact that he was at 35, you were at 25, and you met in the middle, according to me. Not to him, probably, or most people,
Right.
but you came up a little, right? You came up $3,000,
Right.
and he came down, what is that, 7?
7.
He came down 7.
Mhm.
So boom, right then and there, you got value in this deal. You sent him a contract or had a handwritten one? How'd that go?
I sent it via email.
Okay.
And,
Did he sign it right away?
He's actually a realtor,
Okay.
so he wanted to draft up his own real estate
That didn't stop you?
contract.
What-
So I said, go ahead.
Cool.
And we did.
Okay. Was it special sales, probably the 6 or
Yes.
7 pager? Okay.
Yes.
Perfect.
Yep.
So that didn't
And
stop you
what's
guys.
actually funny is that he wanted to put this contract is not assignable.
He did one. I remember that.
Yeah.
Yes. And how'd you get around that? What'd you tell
I
him?
said, fine. I just was going to plan on double
Closing it. Right.
Yep.
And that's
That's
boom.
exactly what I did.
So what we're doing, guys, is we're solving problems along the way. Dude, this is so great. Okay. So you met him at the property. He showed it to you. You made him an offer. You got pictures, I'm assuming,
Yes.
while you were there. Later on, you sent him an email with an offer in it.
Yes.
And did you guys verbally agree prior?
Yes.
Okay, cool. So he signed it, sent it back. He's an agent, guys. You can wholesale deals from people that own them that are agents. Like, he could have easily listed this property
Right.
and probably got what you sold it for, right? But
Right.
he didn't because you were basically offering him convenience
Right.
and you demanded a discount in exchange, right?
Absolutely.
So you got this property at 28
28,000.
and it's under contract. What kind of contingencies? Because if you use our contract, there's some built in, but whenever he sends you one, did you make sure that you had
I
something
made
in
sure I had him give me a 10-day inspection.
there? Perfect. So you had it out.
contingency. Yes.
Perfect. Okay, so this is where I'm excited about
But
this.
he did stress and he made me close within 25 days.
Oh, cool.
He wouldn't want to go.
Yeah,
longer than that.
which is understandable. The main thing is to get it sold in the first 10.
Right.
Did you throw in the word business?
I don't believe I did.
Pro tip.
Okay.
Here's why. Check this out. This is so cool.
The weekends.
The weekends, man. So 5 days is 5 days. 5 business days is typically 7. So when you go, and it multiplies, right? So when you do 10, that's 14.
Right.
15 is, I'm not good at math, 19 or something like that, right?
Right.
But you basically get like 40% more days. So next time, use business.
Business.
Pro tip. But
Okay.
anyway, you got it done in 10, doesn't matter. So what did you do to sell this? So you found the list on PropStream, you got the criteria, you pulled it down, you put it into batch, you skip traced it, and then texted it. From there, you communicated with him and set the appointment, went out, made a friend. This isn't hard. You made a friend. You said, man, let me try to help you. Let me buy this. You got it under contract. What'd you do next?
Well, I did the same exact thing to find my buyer.
What?
Right in PropStream.
Right in PropStream.
Yeah.
So
So I
this
searched
is
that
why
area.
I was when you told me this the other day on our call, I was like, holy cow. Like, yes, PropStream has the ability to pull buyers. I just don't feel like it's utilized that often. And boom, you utilized it. So you went back to PropStream. Back.
And I searched
and you
that
pulled
same
buyers. So
area.
how does that work? Tell me the process of that.
I actually drew around
Perfect.
the neighborhood.
And that's one of the features. You can draw on the map. So you basically just drew an object that was close to
to
where
a circle
that was at.
around that area, probably about half a mile away.
Okay.
In all the surrounding areas. And then I found all the cash buyers.
And how many do you think, roughly? I mean, it's probably not that many.
It was probably about
like
250.
250. That's more than I would have guessed.
Mm-hmm.
But that's a lot of people.
Right.
And then you pulled that
list
down.
The same way I pulled the seller's list. I imported it straight.
How long did that take you to pull the buyer's list?
2 minutes.
How long did it take you to pull the seller's list?
2 minutes.
Isn't this crazy, dude?
Crazy.
This is fucking awesome. Pardon my language, but I'm excited.
Yeah.
10 grand, dude.
Time at all.
10 grand. Okay. So you pulled the buyer's list and you did the same thing. You went back to batch.
Yep.
What?
Back to batch.
Back to
traced
batch.
that list. Came up with a
and you did the same cold text too, right?
Yeah. Same cold text. I put a little information in those.
So this
text
one
message.
looked different though.
Yes.
The first one was probably along the lines, and you said you had a lot of different message templates, right?
Yes.
But basically, it's simple, guys. If you were listening or watching this, it's, hey, John, I think you're the owner at, 2222 Clemens Avenue. Do you have interest in selling it?
Right.
Or any variation of that, which could be 100 things.
Right.
But when you did the buyer, how did that look? I'm curious.
It was pretty much the reverse.
Okay.
Hey, I seen you purchase homes in this area for cash. Would you be interested in another one?
That is so incredibly simple. It's almost hard to believe.
Yep.
But that's it. That's all there is to it.
Yep.
So you did the exact same thing. 250 people that you had sent. How did the responses come in and look? Did you?
It was actually a lot of responses.
Probably imagine you probably had at least 10 people that are like, yeah, send me more info, right?
Yeah, it's always a lot of more responses
Of course.
when you're reaching buyers as opposed to sellers.
Right.
So I had a few people interested, but I had one main guy who he pretty much, as soon as I texted him, he said, I want to go see it. He went to go see it. It was already on lockbox. I made sure it was on lockbox.
So you brought that with you when you went to the appointment?
I had to go back and put it on there.
But you knew, and now you know.
It was on there before I
Hell
texted
yeah.
the buyers. So he went to go see it, and he said, hey, man, you don't have to
you
go
didn't
any further.
You didn't even have to meet him, did you? Or did you?
I didn't.
You didn't?
Not at first, no.
Next time we're not going to meet the seller either.
I can't wait.
Okay, cool. So he said you don't have to go any farther.
He said, don't go any further. I'm your buyer.
What were you asking? So you had it under contract at 28, and what were you asking?
I knew I could get 34, 35, so I put it out there at 38,500.
Okay. And then what was his offer to you?
He said that he wanted to get it about 35, so I kind of negotiated with him, and he said that he didn't want to lose this house because I told him it was another person interested. He said, let's do it for the 38.5.
So full asking price.
Yes.
Bam.
Yes.
Holy cow. Okay. Guys, 2 softwares and a little bit of hustle, and you earned $10,000. Found the list on PropStream, added it to batch, text some sellers, set some appointments, did the exact same thing once you had a deal, PropStream for buyers this time, went to batch to skip and cold text, hey, I got this deal. Was he the first guy that went in it? Maybe
Was he?
Probably sent a couple people
was.
over.
It was probably about 4 people.
Okay.
He was the first.
But regardless, you had only given the information to a couple of people, right?
Right.
And then he said, okay, I like it, full ask. Did you send him a contract or did he send you one?
Well, actually, he's a little bit older gentleman, so I just drove to meet him.
Perfect.
Yeah.
And I love that, though,
Yep.
because that's
And I filled out
solidified
everything.
Shake a hand.
Yep.
Hell yeah. Okay.
Yep.
And then you brought a contract with you,
Yes.
and then you take it to the title company,
Yes.
closed it up, double closed.
Yep.
The cool thing about where we live, where'd you close this at? Investors? Perfect.
Yeah.
The cool thing about where we live at here in St. Louis, Missouri is we can do double closes without any money. Some areas, some states, some counties, they may not allow the dry double closes. You may require a transactional lender to do these, but we don't.
Right.
So you didn't have $1
I
invested
didn't have to bring
in
one
the
penny.
deal. Now,
Well, actually, I did have to bring the earnest money.
okay,
That's all
how
I had
much
to
was
do.
that?
500.
500. So you did
Yes.
invest that, but you got it back.
Yes.
Right. Okay. So 95 was really the profit though, but
Right.
10 G's is what came in the account.
Right.
That's cool. Okay. So, took it to the title company, did double close. You didn't have a nickel out of your pocket for buying and or selling, and made about 10. However, and this is what I really want to emphasize on just for a second, Derrick, flipping houses with little to no money. You just proved it's possible with basically no money to buy and or sell. However, you are paying for prop stream, you are paying for batch, you're in a coaching program, you have
Marketing.
some costs.
Right.
But at this point, you've made 3, 4, 5x on those costs.
Right.
Right? So it's all good. It's worth it, right?
Absolutely.
So what I'm getting at though is doing deals with little to no money is so possible. It's simple, in fact. However, the caveat is sometimes you have to invest in marketing. Most times, right?
Right.
Once you start doing more and more of these, you'll start getting referrals and you'll have no cost for the lead. So that's what I want to just, put out there is there is cost in the marketing. How much do you think, excluding working with me, on just your prop stream, your skip tracing, and your texting, which is, again, 2 softwares, and you're only 3 months in, what do you think the total amount of money that you've spent on this is?
I would say about $600 a month.
Okay, so 3 months,
18.
you're about 1,800. So you are, again, not including the coaching, you're looking at almost 4x, 3.5x, give or take,
Right.
on that deal. Now, you also have a ton of leads, I'm assuming,
Yes.
from those efforts.
Yes.
Derrick, my average deal takes 4 to 6 months because it's the follow-up.
The follow-up.
So we're doing, 6, 8, 10. Just kind of varies, right?
Mhm.
1 or 2 of those that come in a month will be quick, easy. The rest of those require follow-up. And they take 4 to 6 months of following up to either get the agreement between us and them to work,
Right.
or to make sure, or to wait out their motivation.
Right.
Right. So
I'm learning that now.
Yeah.
I'm
So the
probably
fact,
working on about 10 to 15 leads that I'm following up. It's just this one happened to be bam,
quicker,
bam.
boom. So this is awesome, and this is how it happens. Some of them go quick, some of them take longer. But the cool thing is you have 1,800 in cost. You made 10 grand, but you also have leads that you're working that you can continue to follow up with that you've already spent that money on. So, over time, you can drive your cost down because you can build that big ass funnel of follow-ups.
Right.
Man. So, looking back on this, how much time did you, not on all of your marketing,
Okay.
but on this particular deal?
On this particular deal, just downloading the list, sending text blasts,
Going
driving
and
to the
meeting
property,
them, getting pictures, going to meet the seller or the
No.
buyer.
no more than 2 hours.
Wow, let's say 3, right? Let's go higher.
Right.
3 hours. That's breaking that down to 10 grand, and not 10 grand for 3 hours. You're looking at like $3,500 an hour.
Right.
So it's pretty simple. This process is simple,
Absolutely.
and I hopefully you've proved to yourself
Yeah.
that this can happen and this
Yes.
can work.
Yes.
Cool, man. I'm excited for you. $10,000 wholesale fee, first deal, 3 months. We would like to have gotten you there in 1 to 2, but it doesn't matter. You
Right.
did it. You proved it to yourself. You got a couple more leads that are in the pipeline. You said about 10 right now.
Yeah, about 10 to 15.
And that's-
What's funny is I actually got a property, I would say 1 week into starting wholesaling.
Boom.
But I priced it wrong. It was a learning lesson for
Mhm.
myself as far as the rehab is concerned, and that one didn't close.
So you
So it was
probably
a learning
offered to pay
lesson when I
more.
went to this one.
Probably offered to pay more.
Yes.
Couldn't sell it for that.
Yes.
Yeah, you know what? Lessons are learned that way all the time. But regardless, you got to do that sometimes.
Mhm.
You got to, because here's why. Sometimes you'll think that you're in too high and you'll find a buyer anyway,
Right.
right? Other times, if you don't at least try, I tell this to a lot of the students that are new and they're not making offers, Derrick. If they're not trying to get properties under contract, it's impossible to sell something that you don't have, right?
Right.
If Walmart didn't have any inventory on their shelves,
Right.
how can they turn a profit? You got to have inventory. So the fact that you made the offer, sent it over in writing, had it under contract, and had to back out is okay.
Right.
You gave it your best efforts, and you didn't have any malice intention anyway,
No,
right?
not at all.
It was all, let's try to get this done. So, talking about the deal that you did do, though, triple win. You helped the seller, who is an agent, who could have done it himself, get rid of a problem property to reduce his liabilities.
Right.
Boom, win. You found a buyer in the area, which I'm impressed by you, by the way, because the tactic in which you did it is just simple. And you did it just simply. You put the pieces together.
Right.
So you found this guy. What was his plan? Did you ask him, is he going to rent it?
I think his plan was to give it to a family member, rehab it, and his brother's going to stay there.
Perfect. So he's going to rent that property out.
Yep.
Triple win. You won.
Absolutely.
10 G's.
10K.
What was like the biggest lesson from this? Just that it's possible?
Just
Like
going through
opening up your mind
just
to
going
knowing?
through the process. I just want to prove to myself. Of course, I knew it was real, but I can do it.
It's hard to like truly understand it though until you see it.
Right.
And you get that deposit in your bank account.
Right.
And you're like, holy cow. So this was a more inexpensive house, but you can do this with $1 million houses too. You don't necessarily need money to buy and sell, because at the end of the day, guys, we're selling paperwork.
Right.
That's really what we're selling. We're not selling houses. So you can make it work to where you're flipping the paperwork. The cost, or another way to word it would be the investment that you have to make is the end of the marketing. Derrick, I've said this a lot of times, and I would think you would agree with me at this point. Wholesaling is the marketing business.
Yes, absolutely.
Wouldn't you agree?
Absolutely.
It's not a real estate investing business.
Absolutely.
Kind of, because you're kind of doing that. The way I look at it is you become an investor when you start taking risk. You are doing that. You got a rental.
Yep.
You got 2 flips in the work.
flips.
That's risk.
Right.
When you're doing wholesales, the risk is so limited because of the CYA clauses, the inspection period, based on the partner's approval or subject to successful acquisition or whatever those contingencies might be. Boom. Derrick, thank you for coming in. Thanks for coming on the
problem.
show.
Thank you.
What else can you tell us that you've learned about this deal? I mean, this is me and you sitting here right now. It's simple. But before, 3 months ago, you're like, man, there's so many different pieces. There's really not.
Right.
Wholesaling is actually really simple. You just got to...
It just takes grind and persistence.
You said it. Persistence.
That's it.
Persistence. There's
Yep.
3 things that I would want to highlight on that topic that you need to have persistence in. One is your marketing. You agree with me on that?
Absolutely.
You gotta.
Yes.
Number 2, consistently sending offers. What good is marketing if you're not sending offers?
Right.
And I just mentioned if you don't...
I know you told me that. I always try to send an offer.
Something. I sent
Even if
6
it's not
yesterday.
in writing, I'll text it or I'll call, give them the offer.
You got to have inventory. You can't sell what you don't have in inventory. Love that. So number 1, marketing. Number 2 is consistently sending offers. And then finally is follow-up. Because you paid for those leads. They're in your system. Either your offer isn't high enough for them, or more importantly, the motivation on their side isn't high enough for you. And I always want to emphasize this. And if you can leave here, Derrick, with one gold nugget other than the business, which I gave you earlier, is you now know that what you do, this service provides a shit ton of convenience to your sellers. So now, hopefully this will help speed up the next deal for you, right? But now, know what you're worth. You can provide a crazy level of convenience. So when a seller is asking retail or close to it, pull back.
Okay.
Pull back. Why should I go out of my way to give you all this convenience if you aren't going to give me a discount? I'm not saying be rude. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is pull back. Well, maybe this deal isn't for me. I'm looking for something that I can get at a discount, right? But in exchange, I'm willing to provide a crazy level of convenience. What's that look like? Close quick, pay cash, little to no inspections, as is. You don't have to repair it, clean it, fix it. I mean, that is a lot of convenience.
Right.
So the reason I say this is because I had, after about 1.5 years in this business, I had a mindset shift of, man, I'm undervaluing this convenience. And what happened is I stopped chasing bad deals. You've heard of the 80-20 principle.
Absolutely.
20% of the deals are going to be 80% of your profits. So I quit chasing these bad deals because I started realizing, hey, this level of convenience that I'm offering is extremely valuable. And if somebody isn't willing to offer me a discount, it doesn't have to be half. It's not what I'm asking for, but a discount, well, then I'm probably not going to be interested in closing quick, paying cash, or buying it as is. I'll pull back on one of those three things just to lay it level the playing field. But if they do decide to give you that discount, give them all that convenience. So know the value of the convenience is a lesson that I just wanted to throw out there because, boom, 10 grand. You helped 2 other people in the process. And it'll help you from chasing those skinny deals. Again, I'm not saying don't follow up. What I'm saying is don't go out of your way to chase them.
Right.
If they're
either
not
the convenience is there
80-20, man. You know, you're going to spend 80% of your time. This is true. We just closed a deal yesterday for $1,900, dude. We worked on this deal. We closed 3 this week. Today's Thursday. The other 2, we didn't do that much on. The one that we made like $6-7 grand each. The one that we got for $1,900, we spent 3 months working on. 2 different title companies, had to clear a judgment, had to pay agents. We spent, you said earlier, 2 hours. I upped it to 3.
Yeah, about
on
2
this
hours.
deal that we did, we probably spent 15 and made 19. So what I'm saying is, don't chase them.
Right.
Let them come to you. Let them know that you have that level of convenience. But in return, you demand a discount. Again, doesn't have to be crazy big, but it's got to be something in there.
Right.
So, Derrick, again, thank you for coming on today. You've been one of my favorite people to coach because you are a hard worker and you got that grind. Again, you said the thing to take away from this was persistence, guys. If you are listening to this, if you are watching this, just be persistent. Derrick doesn't even have a CRM yet.
I don't.
Which is okay. We're going to have to get you into the CRM stage.
Immediately.
Cool. But the cool thing about Batch is they have the ability to mark a lead warm, cold, hot, whatever, to where you can kind of compile those and go back. It's not a CRM,
right,
but it does allow you to basically filter or put them into folders, which was sufficient for the first deal.
Yes,
but now that you've made it, you've proven to yourself, and you have money to reinvest in that marketing, which I'm assuming is going to look very similar to what you've already done. Just duplicate this, man.
Right.
Go find some more lists or other types of marketing, bandit signs, direct mail, so on and so forth. But
just time to do
honestly,
what I did
though,
to get this on steroids.
Exactly. But honestly, I wouldn't change it too much.
Okay.
Just get really good at this. And then eventually you can outsource this to a virtual assistant, and then you don't have to do that anymore. You just start running appointments. That's what I do because I enjoy it.
Okay.
You see what I'm saying?
Right.
Either way, though, thanks for coming in.
No problem.
Happy $10,000 first closing.
Yes.
Congratulations, my man.
Thanks.
Derrick, I'm grateful for you. Any last words for the audience today?
Just keep the grind. Stay persistent.
That's it, guys. It is that simple. Keep the grind. Until next time, you heard it from Derrick Towns here in St. Louis. First deal, $10,000.
$10K.
Boom. Thanks, Derrick.
Thanks for listening to the Discount Property Investor Podcast. If you enjoyed this episode, please like, share, and subscribe to help us reach a wider audience. To jumpstart your real estate investing career, please visit freewholesalecourse.com, the most complete free course on wholesaling real estate ever. We would also appreciate it if you left us a review on iTunes or Stitcher. Thank you in advance for your support, and remember, you make your money when you buy, and you get paid when you sell. Now let's go build some wealth.